Okay, so let's talk about moon phases. Moon phases can be tricky sometimes if you're not looking at it from a certain perspective. I'm going to show you as the light is coming in from the right, and then I'll show you as the light is coming in from the left, because you might see that on any of your test questions. All right, first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that the Earth is in the center, and the reason that we have half black and half white is because we have our sunlight that's coming in and hitting the Earth. We know that the moon also revolves around the Earth counterclockwise, and that it takes approximately 28 days to revolve. Okay. While it is revolving, the moon also rotates. And so it is rotating as it revolves. And it rotates in 28 days. So it rotates on an axis. All right? So remember that because it rotates and revolves at the exact same speed, we always see the same side of the moon. But also remember that that does not mean that not all sides get light. Because if I'm looking here, right now, this side is dark. But if it's revolving and rotating as it goes around, then this side is now here and it is receiving the light. Okay, remember when we had, when I played the moon and we had students who played the Earth so that you could see this. Okay, so let's go in and talk about some of the different phases. Remember that these here show the moon phase as it would be seen if we were in space. So, seen from space. Remember that each side, they're all looking identical because the sun is coming in from the right. Here's our sun over here. It's shining its light this way, so this half of the moon is always lit in space, and this half will be dark because it doesn't receive any of the light in order to reflect it. Remember that the moon is our only natural satellite, and that it does not have its own light source, that the moon actually reflects the light of the sun down to us. All right, so as we are going through this, I'm just going to use this color. Here, okay. All right, so we have here this as seen from Earth. This is going to be our new moon. Remember that this side is lit, this side is not. This is the side that we are seeing. Remember that this rises at sunrise and sets at sunset. That's why we typically don't see it, is because it's up during the day. Remember that there's also only one day for this. And we have close to 0% luminosity. All right, so as we continue, the next phase that we are going to see is going to be a waxing crescent. So before we get too far, let's talk waxing. We put the light onto the right. Okay, so we're going to put the light on the right side. Remember that when we wane, we are going to take the light off on the right. So as we are going here, we're taking it off. All right. Two other things to remember. Crescents are less than half, and gibbouses equals more than half. Meaning less than half of it is lit, more than half of it is lit. Alright, so again, here we go. Waxing crescents. Waxing crescents. We can have anywhere between 1% to 49% be a waxing crescent. Know that when you actually see luminosity data, it's not always exact. Okay? So we have this. This would be our moon phase here. Alright? Our first quarter rises at noon and sets at midnight. And remember, the light is on the right. And then we have it shaded over here, dark. Okay. This one lasts one day. We have one day that is typically designated as our first quarter. And that first quarter can be anywhere sometimes from 48 to approximately 53-54%, depending upon the amount of light that's actually on the moon as it's coming and the day. But typically it is one day for a first quarter. Alright, then we're going to come over here and we have our waxing gibbous. We want the big side. Remember that gibbous means more than half. So we have more than half of the moon lit. And it's going into that full moon. Alright, so waxing gibbous. Okay, so when I talk about a waxing crescent and a waxing gibbous, they don't necessarily just look like this. They can be extremely small. So all of these days, from this day to this day, and from this day to this day, are the waxing. So here, this can take 6 days. Waxing gibbous can take 6 days. And remember that a gibbous can go anywhere from 51% to 99%. Alright? Then we have our full moon. Alright, full moon. Full moon rises at sunset and sets at sunrise. So we see this nice and bright up in the sky. And it's going to be close to 100%. Not every full moon that we see will be at 100%, but usually it's in the 99%. Okay? So full moon, we have done half of a revolution, half of a revolution, and it's taken us a total of 14 days to go from a new moon to a full moon. Full moon occurs one day. Alright? Occasionally you will see it marked as 2 days, and the reason for that depends upon when the moon is actually crossing over a specific point on Earth, because they take data of the luminosity at a specific point on Earth every day, and so sometimes when it passes over that, you're getting a double 2 days worth. but typically it is a one-day occurrence. All right. If you know your waxing, guys, waning is the opposite. So memorize your waxing, and then you can do your waning without any problem. So if I'm looking at this, and my lit side is here, then that means that my lit side is going to be on the opposite side down here. So it's going to be over here. It's colored. Okay, so we have our waning gibbous. Okay, waning gibbous. Remember that waning means that we're going to take the light off on the right. So this is my right side of the paper. I'm taking the light off on the right. And so now my light is on the left. Gibbous means that I still have more than half of the moon that is lit. Alright, so this again is going to go from 99% to 51%, and it's going to take about 6 days. As I'm going around, then my next phase that I'm going to get is my third quarter. Remember, if my lighted side is here for waxing, it's going to be on the opposite side for waning. Alright. So third quarter. Third quarter moons rise at midnight and set at noon. So as you're seeing these phases of the moon, if you see the moon up nice and bright in the morning hours when you're coming to school, you're in the waning phase. All right, third quarter, again, usually, typically, it's about 50%, but again, it can be anywhere from 48 to about 53%. It is also a one-day occurrence. You're looking for one specific day for this. And then our last one is going to be our waning crescent. Again, opposite, crescent here for lit. So now this time, it's going to be on this side. And then we have, remember, crescent means less than half. So we start to see as the light is coming off of the moon, it's going into the new moon phase. So this is going to be my waning crescent. Oops. The waning crescent can go anywhere from 49% to 1%, and it's going to last about 6 days. Okay? So as I'm going around, there's all this information about the moon and the moon phases. The biggest thing for you to do is to look and see where is the sunlight coming. If the sunlight is coming from here, then I know waxing is going to be on top. But if I have it something along these lines where my sunlight is here, then waxing is going to be down here. Because remember that it is revolving counterclockwise. And if this is my new moon, then this is waxing and this is waning. Okay?